right. Good morning, everybody. Or if it's not morning and you're a part of the world, time of day. Good time of day, everybody. I'll put that down. All right. I may need to clear my cookies really quick because it looks like I'm having some problems loading. I also haven't rebooted my computer in like 5 weeks. I'm really bad about rebooting my computers. So let me try a quick incognito tab real quick. See if that's loading. Yeah. All right. So I'll do that down here in another tab while I start talking. So today we are going to be jumping back in to our just cookies, clear data. All right, let's see if that helped. We're going to be jumping back into the forum bot project that we've been working on. So I read all the Kaggle forum posts with my, I don't know why that tab isn't loading. I read all the Kaggle forum posts with my human eyeballs, and that is becoming a problem because we have, at this point, hey, Nico. I'm glad you made it. Good morning. Sorry, I had the chat covered by another, the tab where I was futzing around. So we're working on a project to... Random clustering, Yake example, which is the one we were working on. I think it was this one was the one with the most information in it. So we've been working on a project to take the forum posts, of which there are many, and take all of that information and that richness and condense it down into a report for me to read, basically, is the MVP, the minimum viable product on this project. And let's jump back in real quick here. So because we make I can just open it here. We make all of course it's going to be, that makes sense. We make all of the Kaggle data available. So sometimes people will be like, how can I scrape Kaggle? I'm like, you don't need to. It's like we make it available as a daily upload. Pretty much anything you'd want to know is in MetaKaggle, which is... basically a copy of our database with particularly sensitive information removed. And because it does have user information in it, we will actually delete previous versions when we upload the new ones. So if you delete something from Kaggle, it also gets deleted from MetaKaggle, and we protect your data, which is fantastic. But that does mean that we may have a little bit of a hiccup here when we get started. Although it looks like it's automatically fetching the most recent version, so I think we should be good. It's 6 p.m. in Spain. Hello. And late evening in Moscow. Excellent. As opposed to the middle of the night, as it would be if I streamed at the time I used to. A little bit of water. Okay, so let's just run all of these cells that we have so far. So we're using the code of somebody else. So I have a script kernel here that has the relevant code from this GitHub repo, which is by Yang Yuan, looking at so it's a GitHub repo that implements Brown clustering in Python. And Brown clustering is this clustering algorithm. And the basic idea is that each word starts out in its own cluster, and then you merge clusters in a way that maximizes mutual information. So it's very similar to the way a lot of decision tree algorithms work. And then you stop merging clusters, and you do like a final couple shuffle passes with reassigning points and seeing if that helps when you no longer increase mutual information. So it's an unsupervised... That's really cool. I'd never noticed that before. So it looks like it's still running. Yeah, and I have a little player here in my tab, so I can see that it's still running, and I don't have to go back to see if it's still running. That's nice. I think that's new. Anyway, so that's the basic idea of Brown clustering. And where we got to last week was, I don't think we see it quite yet. Oh, here we do. Where we got to last week was we tried it on just the raw forum posts. And we found was that the information wasn't super helpful. So here we have the target word, these are other words, and this is their mutual information with the target word. So basically it's a measure of how much more likely the word is to be used next to the target word as opposed to in other places in the text. So people say in Kaggle, to Kaggle, on Kaggle, href Kaggle, so they include it with a link quite a bit. Which is not actually that helpful for our specific project. And what we did to improve on that is we actually did some unsupervised keyword extraction using Yake, which stands for, I think, yet another keyword extraction algorithm. And then we get results that are a little bit more helpful. So here we have words that are similar to Kaggle, good, the, Python, for, test, dataset, in, problem, train, set. And these are words that have all been extracted as keywords from forum posts. So we still have some stop words, but they're not the entire data set. Oh, excuse me. Someone said I'm not very audible. I can't make promises on dates, but I will tell you that that is something that we are prioritizing and I have asked for a lot. So that's all I'm saying. Is the volume better? One sec, let me check my monitor. Yeah, it's a little bit quiet. There we go. That should help. Let me know if that doesn't sound a little bit better for you guys. Nico said, can we also remove stop words? Yeah, but I mean, if we can do it as part of another step, maybe that instead. So this is the word and then the mutual information. And then here we have the word and the mutual information for error. So we have TensorFlow, question, good, I don't know about that, learn, that makes sense, problem makes sense, features make sense. And then for deadline, we have data, code, time, learning, competition, source model, computer, taking, and prediction. So this cluster, I should say, this group of words that have the same mutual information with deadline seems pretty good. And then submission, we have scientist, deep, correct, science, machine, statistical, series, dear, favorite, related. And it's just giving us the top, I think, 10 for each. So these aren't the clusters. These are the words with the highest mutual information for the given word. And where we ended last week was that we didn't have, someone said Yake, it's Y-A-K-E, is the name of the library. And we imported it here. So we pip installed from GitHub. So good question. Christopher says, what does it return if it hasn't seen a word before? Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out. Presumably nothing. Presumably an empty set. Yeah, just an empty list. I'm assuming no one's typed that exact thing on the forums. So the first thing I want to do today is figure out how to get clusters. And someone last week was like, hey, this library doesn't have the best documentation. And it's not like, you know, it's not the most, polished library that ever was. It's, something that somebody wrote, I'm assuming for a class they were teaching. Let's actually see. Microsoft Seattle, so, or maybe a, lecture they gave at work or something. So it's got a license, it's got a README, but it's not fully documented. I don't think it's on pip, and it's not designed to be like, super polished library. So one thing that is something that we are eventually going to have to wrestle with is that this does have quadratic time complexity with the size of the corpus and also the number of unique words. So the larger chunk of the forums we feed it, the more time it will take in a very quickly increasing way. So that's something that we may need to look into. All right. Laplace smoothing, blah, blah, blah. I am interested in seeing what the class round clustering gets similar. Okay, so here is the class that we've returned that we've called clustering here, and I want to see how we get the clusters. That's what I would like to do now. Jeeting says, finally caught the live stream. Excellent. Glad to have you. Welcome. All right. And we also have this M here, and I still don't know what M is, because at other places in the corpus, it says that M is the window size, but it looks like it's never referred to after when it's set here, which is a little bit confusing. Okay, so we rank the vocabulary by frequency, it looks like. Is this function? This function codes. I don't know what this is doing. Maybe it looks like it's creating dictionary keys. I'm assuming this is something to do with dictionary structure and making it so that it's faster to query. Or for sorting the dictionary, maybe? I mean, this is Python 3, which now has sorted dictionaries, but this code was written in 2017, so I think that was before sorted dictionaries were in. Vladimir says M is window size. Nikolash says probably the number of clusters. Oh, so that's something that's different with Brown clustering than other clustering algorithms. You don't say what the number of clusters are. It sort of emerges based on when the mutual information stops decreasing. So that is one nice thing about this algorithm, is that I don't have to tune that manually. In train, it's in the training size. Okay, so it's the window size that I think we're sliding over the corpus. And did we set it to be 2? Because I'm assuming... Oh, we set it to be 6. Interesting. I wonder if it would work better if it was 2. Because I think the original paper was for bigrams, which is 2 words next to each other. And this looks like it's 6 grams, so 6 words next to each other. Interesting. First step is to get the clusters out, and then we can work on tuning. So here we're merging argmax. So this must be where we take the clusters and decide which ones to merge. Here we get similar. So this is what we've been using. Temp self.codes. Okay, so we're going through our dictionary and we're getting words that are especially similar. There's a training function and that's it. Okay. Notice. Nico says M is used with training. Let's see, words. Let's see, self.m. Oh, here we go. Words 0 through self.m. W in words, self.m, self-merge. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. So that's the window size. So we might want to set that to be a little bit lower. Because that means, so the window size means that perhaps part of the reason that we're getting things like A in and for with error is that they occur within a 6-word window that includes error and not that they occur directly next to error. Although given that we've done keyword extraction, so we don't have the raw text anymore, we have the keywords extracted from the raw text, we may want to lower the window size. Nico says, can you try using clustering.codes to access the clusters? That is a good question. So looking through the all the methods for this class, or all the functions for this variable, it looks like there's no function to just get the clusters. And Nico is suggesting that we look in this class and then check out codes. this may be very big. Is this a function? It is. Dictionary. Self.code.items. All right, let's try it. This may crash the kernel if it has a lot of output. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Huh. This is not what I expected the output to be. So, sorry, a little bit sniffy. So it looks like we've got some binary here, and I think we had reading twice here. So there's one. Okay, so this one's read and this one's reading. I think we're assuming a unique, well, I think we are assigning a unique binary code to each word. Such. Okay, let's see. This one's pretty short, so I'm just gonna copy and paste this one here. So I have it for later, and then look for such again. So there's one. Sorry, I know this is not easy to look at with your eyes. I'm gonna see if I can find it again. Because I don't think the, oop, did I see one up there? All right, helpful. So I think all of the other places it occurs in here are in this window, but I'm not seeing it really quickly. Let's read this again. So, temp key, join string for x and reversed value. Reversed value. Join string x for x reversed value. Dictionary. Do we update key value and self codes item? Okay, so we're looking through each item, which is a dictionary that has all of the words in it. Okay. And it's a dictionary, so keys are hopefully unique. So maybe we only have one for each. Okay. And then for our dictionary, we're going through the keys and the values. So this list of dictionaries. And then we're making the key. No. For each key, we are joining to the value. Excuse me. String x for x and reversed value. Okay, so we're going. So this might be stepping through the corpus and then. Oh, Nico says, oh, sorry, clustering underscore codes. So I think this is just a hash map of all of the words in the dictionary. I don't know what the reversed does. So let's look at underscore codes, which I believe is not actually a function. I believe this is just a dictionary. So let's look at the first 5. NumPy styling indexing doesn't work on pandas data frames. Use lock or ilock for a refresher. Okay. Dot head maybe? Dict object has no attribute head. I only want part of this dictionary. I don't want to do all of the dictionary looking. You're not that late. We're still trying to figure out how to get the codes, how to get the clusters out of the clustering algorithm. Dictionary, head, Python. Partial view of a dictionary. That is exactly what I'm looking for, except this is Python 2. There we go. This is Python 3. So it looks like... I think it's very reasonable. I just want some of it. Analogous to panda's tail and head. Also, like, tail and head are from bash commands. It's not weird to want to see the head of a file. I think that is extremely reasonable. Maybe not very Pythonic, but extremely reasonable. Christopher says head as a function. I don't know. That seems a little, yeah, no, that doesn't work, unfortunately. All right, let's try iloc. I don't know that the iloc will work, though, because this is a dictionary and not a... Yeah, it's a dictionary, not a data frame. I'm pretty sure only data frames have the iloc attribute. Oh, that's a good idea. Someone says, try using keys, Rachel. It's a dictionary. Try looking up the key. Okay. Well... Christopher says it's been referred to as a data frame and a dict by the kernel. What is it? I'm pretty sure it's a dictionary. So I'm pretty sure the code's output... No, I think they were both dictionaries. I think we just got... I think the slicing error we got might have been a tooltip from us. Like, that might have been one that Kaggle added. Because people were trying to slice... weirdly a lot. Let's see. Items. 0 to 5. Not subscriptical. Well noted. I think we can hang with this for right now. So, I don't know what this means. I'm guessing that this must be whether it occurs in different... No, but so I was thinking, my first thing was that maybe it's a one-hot encoding of whether or not the word occurs in different clusters, or sorry, in different documents. But A, Brown clustering is not document-based, so I don't know why I thought that would be. And B, the length of the... what is it, an array? The length of the array changes based on the item. So I don't think it can be that we have a static array and we're updating every time it occurs. So, Yer says, cast it to list and then sliced. Wrap items with a list. Okay. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not going to do it because I've gotten the information that I want. And I don't think... this is going to be helpful. Nicholas says, I'm guessing the ones are for each of the words and the zeros are for the ones it has no mutual information with. But again, the length of the array is different. Can never remember the Python command. Okay, so for Kaggle we have 777, and then for... I think such was a small one. We only have 28. And there's more than 28 words in our vocabulary. So I'm assuming this is some sort of clever encoding that makes things faster computationally, but I have no idea what it's doing. So this is helpful. Yeah. I might call this a loss and try to find, and Christopher says, is that wait for them to check if they're all the same length, which I think there's a little bit of a lag between when I'm broadcasting, when you guys see it, and then you type, and then there's even more of a lag, so I'm not ignoring you. There's just a little bit of a delay. Carmen Yagrawal says, it could be a unique number for each word. I'm thinking that is it. Yer says, brown clustering is weird. I mean, it's very unlike a lot of current NLP methods, because it is based on mutual information and sort of an n-gram model, and we've sort of moved away from that as a field. But listen, n-grams are still good, you guys. Lines 40 through 44 in the Brown clustering class. There we go. Oh, here we go. So we're pending 1 and 0. What? Okay, so we initialize the merge benefit to negative infinity. And then, so remember I said that one of the things you have to do is you have to check which of the merges will result in increased mutual information. So this is a nested for loop, which is probably why the time complexity is bad. I'm not saying that I could have written it better. I'm just saying that I think that this algorithm in particular is a little bit slow, and that's just in the nature of the beast. Get cluster, best merge, 0. Get cluster. Ho 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 ho. Ho 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 ho. That is what I want to do. Helper.get cluster. Okay, so what's helper? Where are we getting helper from? Is it up here? Helper. In class clustering helper corpus. So we may need to... Let's try that. Okay, let's try that. I know it's not going to be self. Excuse me. Goodness. Oh, right. First, let's spell things correctly. Okay, so this is cluster 1, maybe? Devil, Kaggling, Iowa, pretty, valuable, restaurant, simply. This is maybe not the most helpful cluster. All right. Let's get length. This looks like a list, so this should tell us the number of items in the list. 1. I think we only have 1 cluster. That's not ideal. Christopher says, did you check out the demo.py file? I did like a while ago. You need some blessings, Rachel. Sorry, I'm very sneezy. I actually have a hypothesis as to what's causing me to sneeze, but it's a long story. And the end of it is that I need to get my hedgehog different food and see if that helps. Let's try out the demo. I'm thinking based on what we've gotten so far, and I remember we looked at this a while ago, but it's been a minute, that we may only actually have 1 cluster, which is not super helpful. Actually, you know what? Let's try something really quick. So let's try window size of 2. And this will take a minute to run, and I'm wondering if this might give us slightly better results. And part of the reason that we're just getting 1 cluster is that we are casting our net too broad. We'll see. Nico says, can you len it? Yes, I'm assuming you're asking about this. It looks like we've got 1 cluster, unfortunately. Might be a list of a list. Allergy to hedgehogs? No, I don't think I'm allergic to hedgehogs. For a moment, I thought I was, but like it didn't seem to change depending on how much I handled him. I think it's something in his food that I know I'm allergic to. And we're going to try different food and see if that helps, but he's got to finish this food first. All right, let's see. Are you done yet? Blah, 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 blah. All right. All right, now let's do a little test here and see how different this is. Data to href learning model time code. Okay, those actually look slightly better to me. Error, TensorFlow, question, data scientist code, learn, href problem. All right. I'm more into these. Let me see if we've got a different number of clusters now. Stoss says, being a document-based and quadratic times, it might not be very helpful to use it if we would combine several documents into one and then applying it. So I think the whole corpus is actually smushed down. I don't think it's document-based, so it's looking at a sliding window instead. And my assumption of how they're handling the sentence is over is that there's an end sentence token that they insert. I don't know that that's true. I could just look at it. But because it is looking at words being next to each other and not necessarily words occurring in the same document, I don't know that changing the total number of documents would help. All right. What's this? What is this data structure? So the reason I'm making a weird face here is that I notice that this is a list and it looks like, oh no, it looks like it's in alphabetical order, but that there's chunks. So if we start here, let's go further down a little bit. So if we start like here, STUVY, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, L, M, etc., 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 goes back to A. And these website winning, reputable, reinforcement, recognition, rank, published, predicted seem like they could be in the same clusters potentially. Nico says, I'm super interested in rewriting the initial repo. Are there academic papers for Brown clustering? There are, and they are actually linked in the repo. There's a couple of them, and there's a couple like different tweaks. It is, I will say, a little bit vintage. So I think this is so this is the original Brown paper. It's Brown for the dude, not Brown for the school, which is what I initially thought. And then here's one from CSAIL. Oh, Percy Liang. That's cool. And this is a dissertation, so maybe read the other one. Maybe read not the dissertation. Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's something in, let's see, account advanced, Altair, annoying, access, Azure, bond, spell, checking, cluster, Collab, confuse, correctly creation deadline. Yeah. Yeah, so this may be the clusters. Let's check out the helper method and the get clusters method and see what that looks like. And again, I want it to be very clear. I'm not dunking on this project somebody did for a class, like whether they were teaching the class or taking the class. I'm very happy that they made their code open source and also licensed it under a nice permissive license. And I ain't yelling at nobody. So let's see helpers. Clustering helper, count bigrams, append cluster, merge cluster, raise not implemented error. Y'all, we may have to find a different library. That's a good error. That's very helpful. Okay. Noted. Oh, okay, but here we have an enhanced clustering helper. Return self clusters copy. Self cluster merge clusters. All right. Let's try this get cluster and see if that helps. And I'm assuming it's going to be looking for things like 1, the first, list index out of range. Okay. Missing positional argument I. Okay, no, yeah, this is definitely just one cluster, and I think all of the clusters have been concatenated. Yer says, iterating on each element and checking if the first letter is less than the next one in ASCII code. And I don't have my phone near me, so if you posted something and YouTube was like, that seems like spam, it got nuked. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's give that a try. And if we get this working, I'm not going to have time today. I have so much to do today. But if we get this working, or if one of you does, I'd love it if you'd make a pull request on this repo and we can improve this communal resource. All right. It's an array. No, it's a list. But they're not tuples. It's an array, right? What does an array look like in Python? Yeah, it's an array. Okay, excellent. Whew. I am getting slightly better at Python every day. Okay, so whoop. I'm going to do it this way because it gives us a single array instead of a list of arrays, which I think is going to be a little bit easier for us to oh, jeepers. This would be a great programming interview question. How am I going to do this? So, okay. So maybe the easiest way to do it would be to create a second array of the same length. And then go through and basically flip a bit. Oh, Yer says a list of lists. Each list is a different cluster. So what I was thinking is that we have an array and we'd have a second array, and then if the, you know, what's it called? The letter goes up. The letter goes down instead of up if we're assuming A is at the bottom and Z is at the top. That's a weird metaphor. I would say A would probably be at the top. So if the letter goes up instead of down, then we give it a 1, and then we use that as sort of like a little guide to slice. But people are very helpfully giving me little code snippets, which I deeply appreciate because, again, Python is... I'm a little bit less... this is from Nico. I'm a little bit less comfortable in Python than R. Let's say clusters equals clustering helper. Yeah, I probably should give this a let me give myself a little note too so I know what this is. So it looks like all the clusters have been concatenated to a single array, but they're in alphabetical order, so we can use that to uncat them. Yeah, what am I gonna do? Use the chat? Friendship. Word and word at n plus run. Iterate through. Sorry, you're interleaved in the comments. And oh, I just realized Twitch has been on the bottom this whole time. Okay, no one's talking in Twitch. I try not to ignore people. Okay, so this is going to create an enumerator, right? I have to do that as a good practice, writing notes as comments, using map function instead of loop. Get clusters. Nico says, oh, right, that's right. We were gonna, let's just call this mega cluster. Get clusters. Yeah, oh, actually this won't work because it's only get cluster that takes an index. All right, so we got mega cluster. And we need to I'm not entirely sure what range does. I think it would create an enumerator. I'm only like kind of sure how enumerators work. I'm much more comfortable in R, where everything is a vector. Everything's a vector. An integer is a vector of length 1, and it's also indexed, so you can always use indexes to do everything, and I've gotten very comfortable. Enumerate creates an enumerator. All right. If you want to be really functional, you could also use reduce. Reduce and map. That's another thing that I have used a couple times, and I kind of know how it works, but I'm not super comfortable with it. If I is less than... No, I need to know if the key... Okay, so it's... Python check if ASCII character before or after. Christopher says range creates a lazy list of integers. Oh, I see. So basically it's creating a list the same length as our array, where the first item is 0 and then the last item is whatever the number of the last item is. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Nope. 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 Python alphabetical order check if help. Checking if a string is an alphabetical order array. How to sort, not what I want to know. How to sort, not sorting, not what I'm looking for. Sorted, is this something that would check? Sort numeric, no. Okay, so this is also going to sort something. Python check if array sorted. Check if a list is sorted or not. Okay. Oh my god, the amount of just shoo. Oh my gosh, just give me my screen real estate back. This is very unpleasant to look at with my eyes, and also probably for y'all's eyes. List is not sorted. List is sorted. No, I want to know where the list isn't sorted. Let's see. I guess initially it is one cluster, and if you call train, it will be split. Nico says, I think it's best we write the loop first before optimizing it. Yeah, I'd say that is reasonable as well. Get the first letter, so add 0. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So this is going through the mega cluster. We are getting the ith element in the... So we're going through, and then we're going to get the first character, and then we're going to want to look at the next i+1, the next element, and then that first character. Listen, I'm going to do this the dumb way. I'm just going to see if it works. Nope. Okay, that didn't work. List object cannot be interpreted as integer. All right, I'm streaming through. For item in enumerate your list. Oh, interesting. So I can just treat them as, I don't actually need to look at the characters. I can just compare them directly. List item cannot be treated as an integer. Let's actually just pull this part out and ignore the rest, and just make sure that this syntax is right. Okay. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to get cluster, and I'm going to get the 0th cluster, and then I think that this should work. I will definitely get errors here, but I should be able to do this without working through the nested lists. False. So if 1 is less than 2, false is good. And then, okay. List object cannot be interpreted on as an integer. Yeah, add length inside your range. Oh, I see. Okay, so I thought that range would maybe I've used it before, but it's not something I use often. So I thought that range would just look at the array and create a second array for us, but I am guessing that this may create a array of, Okay. So it kind of worked. Let's double check this though, because I don't think it actually gave us the results that we were looking at. DL, so that's good. HTT. Okay, no, yeah, this is right. And then you see as we go on, the clusters get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we can probably actually cut the first couple clusters. Okay, so we've done what I originally said we could do, which is to create an index. Well, it's not an array. It's not an array. It's just printing stuff out to the console. So I get nothing out of this. What do I want to do? I want to create a list of lists. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So I need to cluster list. And I'm going to create just an empty list. So okay. So if it's not in alphabetical order, we need to create a new list, create a new sub list, add current word, and if it is in alphabetical order, we need to okay, first of all, we need to create list with one sub list. And then if it is in alphabetical order, then we just need to add current word to current sub list. Yeah? Okay. Is this good syntax? Will this create a nested list with 2 empty lists? Are you gonna yell at me? Where'd my code cell go? All right, okay, that worked fine. And then if we just look at X, sorry, I zoomed out. I'm full on not talk good, type a lot range. Okay, so I think that will work. So I think the first thing I need to do is, I kind of want to use pointers. This seems like a good place to use pointers, right? But does Python has pointers, but you don't usually touch them, yeah? All right. Okay, and people have said a lot of stuff while I was just sort of figuring stuff out. Maybe you want to store the index where next is greater than previous. Master Chief says, I don't know what's happening. I'm still a novice. Not coding along either, but for some reason, I'm mesmerized by these sessions. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm also like only 80% sure what's going on right now. We're figuring it out. Yer says you will need to play with the indices in that case. Each time you detect a change, open a new list and increase the index by 1. Yeah. That makes sense. And we also need to say list index equals 0. So list index plus equals plus equals, yeah. That's good. That's Python syntax, right? Let's see, 0. This is just like the silly stuff that's super easy to do, and I just need to remember how to do it in Python. This is maybe it's plus equals list index. Is that good Python syntax? Christopher says switch to C. Lots of pointers there. That's true. Not super interested in that though. Invalid syntax. What about that? Also invalid syntax. Okay. Vladimir says plus does not work in Python. You need to create a copy of the original list and also create a new empty list. Then 2 arrays should be compared with each other and according to the conditions store the empty with. You don't need to create indices. All right. Let's see. Cluster list. I think I do need list index though. Dot append. List index plus 1. Yeah? And we're confused as to whether or not plus equals works. I'm okay with this. Oh, people are saying so I can just do plus equals and then 1, and I have to give it the value, and it doesn't assume that it's 1 from the get-go. All right. Let's see if this works. I don't think it's going to. It didn't. Okay. And... Okay, but no, it should. Oh, I see. Okay, so we successfully increased the index, and then now the new index points to a list that's not there. So how do I add a sublist to a list? Add new sublist to list Python. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Dot append. Oh, that's dead easy. Okay, so all we need to do is we need to do cluster list dot append and then add a new sublist to it, and that should go to the end, and then we increase our list index by 1. Don't work. Does not work. Okay. List index out of range for the mega cluster thingadoogle. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, so I think we've gotten through the list, and then there isn't anything after the last one. So let's actually do -1 here. Maybe that'll work. Invalid syntax. Okay, different errors making progress. Different errors are my favorite thing. Did we do it? Do we have clusters now? Let's look at the cluster list. And let's just actually do the first one. It's empty. Second one, also empty. Third one, additionally empty. Well, okay. Mistakes were made. All right. Stats says the less than sign is because we assume the cluster to be in alphabetical order. Yeah, definitely. List.append new list. Yeah. And again, there's a lag between you guys and me, especially since I've started streaming at a higher frames per second, which I think increases the lag. All right, so we did. Oh no. We never appended anything. We didn't append anything. We're just like, just append. Emptiness. We need to actually append the thing that we're trying to do. And I think it's mega cluster I is the thing that we're actually trying to append. That's a good error. That's great. I love that. This does seem to be pretty fast though, even though, well, I guess the list isn't that long. Right? Yeah, that was pretty fast. List 3 is of. 4 is model and Kaggle. Is that out of range? No. Okay, so we actually have lists now, which is lists of words in our clusters, which is fantastic. Really happy to see that. It only took an hour. I'm sure you could write this more elegantly, but I think it works. Yeah. Look at all words but last, since we compare each word to the next word. Okay. Oh, the answer to life says, why is there a bunch of binary in the URL bar? We were looking at something earlier. I can just get rid of it. Also, this, you won't see the changes that we made because I haven't committed it yet, but this thingadoogle, this kernel, that's what it's called. The kernel is public, so if you wanted to check it out, you could. We done it. I wouldn't feel good just making a pull request with this code, but if some of you guys wanted to clean it up a bit and make a pull request to the original repo that we were using, which is by Yang Yuan, and we've lost the tab that had it. That's okay. Please feel free. So let's see what the 10th cluster is. In competition problem. Okay. I think that is a very reasonable cluster. I think that this is probably going to tell us about posts where people have problems with competitions. What about 12? Set, dear, learn, lot. Okay, that's also a cluster. Link features. Series analysis on. Version. Okay, I actually think that making the window size shorter didn't help us much. So let's try making it 4 instead. So this is we were looking at like bigrams, which is what the original paper was talking about. But I think having a slightly bigger window size will give us slightly more informative clusters. We'll see. It'll also run for slightly longer. Yours says, I'm going to have nightmares with the Brown clustering method. I mean, of the NLP stuff I've worked with, this is not the weirdest and cruftiest. I kept on thinking whether we needed brackets on append. We did. I mean, it worked. It just didn't do the thing that we wanted it to do. So, okay, so we're running this with new clusters, and here are ones that are similar to Kaggle, which still looks okay. And then with our new clusters, let's run our way to get the clusters out, and now we have, okay, so this might be need a little bit of tuning. Statistical, curated, 15, val, entire, evaluate, listed, overfitted, personal, predicted. Oh, I like this. So this seems something that somebody was probably talking about, some sort of evaluation method where they're predicting something and maybe they've overfitted. I think this seems like an extremely Kaggle-y topic, and I'm pretty happy. Stas says stop words are included. So we haven't done stop word removal specifically, But what we have done is we've used Yake, which is a keyword extraction algorithm, to do unsupervised keyword extraction. So if there are stop words, it is because they were extracted as keywords. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. We did the thing we wanted to do. We didn't talk a whole bunch about evaluating clusters, but I'll just talk about it for like a minute or two. Basically, I'm just going to do that with my eyeballs. And yeah, because I read the Kaggle forums, and this is replacing a task that I do manually and I'm very familiar with. So I might even do a sub-data set that's like, here are some forum posts, here are sort of the topics that I would assign them to, and then use that as a way to turn it into a little bit more of a supervised method, just as a way to compare methods. But yeah, Nico says, can you check 0's index and 1? Absolutely. So 0 is data and model, extremely Kaggle-y, and 1 is time. And the reason that time is by itself is because there weren't any clusters that time as a word could be added to where it would increase the mutual information, which tells me that people are using the word time in a lot of different contexts and not necessarily only in one place, whereas people tend to use the words data and model together a lot, is sort of the idea there. So good question. All right. Let's commit this guy. Like I said, the kernel is public, and it's Rebecca Turner, which is my incognito name. This is not my admin account, so I don't accidentally show off admin stuff like, you know, secrets. We're always testing a lot of stuff, and I don't want you guys to get excited if something's still really buggy and not ready to be out yet. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Next week, we'll hop back in with... still working on this. So now that we have a way to get clusters, I think it would be useful to take those clusters and use them to actually like classify the different forum posts into different clusters, or like the presence of different clusters. I think would be pretty helpful. We could even do something looking at maybe the topics or clusters over time and see how that changed. That could also be pretty helpful. So we'll see what we get up to. Something else. Arung says clusters have the first item from the previous cluster. Oh, let's take a look at that. DMTSST. I don't think they do. I think this looks right to me. Does it look right to you guys? And Stas this should work with any language. Yes, Simon says, give us one secret new feature, please. No, they're secrets. I think I did mention earlier that we are looking into a dark theme, because I know it's something a lot of people want. Also, I think it would be nice for me personally as well. But there's... I hadn't done a bunch of front-end work or worked with a lot of people who did a lot of front-end work before I came to Kaggle. It takes a really long time, guys. There's so much, like, stuff. Like, look at the kernel. You have to decide what everything looks like. You have to pick, like, the font and the size, and you make sure it looks good on mobile and computers, and make sure everything's reactive, and do testing, and, like, and then that includes the stuff that you don't see while you're just looking at it, like all the sub-menus and all of this stuff. And like buttons and reactions and like the way that the menu appears. Somebody had to think about that and design that and test that, and I couldn't do front end, guys. It's so much stuff. It makes me tired just thinking about it, honestly. But it takes a long time to do updates because there's a lot of stuff to be done, is my story there. So the way we're just doing the split is that the clustering was done, and then all of the clusters were flattened into a single list. So we're just going through and looking at things in alphabetical order, and as soon as something's out of alphabetical order, we start a new cluster, is the example. And we don't have a swag store, but I believe that there might be t-shirts associated with the SQL event that we're doing next week. So if you're interested in SQL, there's going to be 4 different events that get sort of progressively more, difficult, more advanced, and you can sign up for those on Kaggle. I think it's kaggle.com/ Nope. You should have got an email, and we also tweeted the link if you wanted to sign those out and check those out, and I will be leading those, and some of those will be on, it's SQL Summer Camp with dashes, and some of those will be on YouTube as well, so you're free to join in for those. All right. So I am going to call it a day, and I will see you guys on I'll be on Wednesday, but it'll be SQL Summer Camp stuff, so you're welcome to join in for that. And then next Friday, we'll jump back into this project. And maybe I will have made a little bit more progress. Probably not. I'm probably going to be really busy with the SQL stuff. But all right, I will see you guys later. Bye. Have a great weekend.